too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello, everybody out there watching. Welcome to the Icon Cup Series Sunday night racing here on SRM. We're at Sonoma in wine country this week, following up a Shane Van Gisbergen domination in real life. We'll see who can do their best SVG impression tonight at Sonoma in the Icon Cup Series. As always, I am Shane Cochran in the booth with Alan Bergen. Alan, how's your weekend going?
It's going great. Look, we're here in the middle of wine country as we are just in the midst of qualifying. And, you know, a couple things to note. One, I kind of dabbled in the practice here a couple times throughout the week. That turn 11 is going to be Calamity Corner, along with corner 3A. You have to nail the gear just right in turn 11. You have to nail the corner just right in 3A. If not, your day's going to go from bad to worse. But I'm ready to turn left and right for the second consecutive time for the season here.
Yeah, Sonoma, just an incredibly technical course. A couple places to pass, but turn 11 going to be the big one. I noticed today in the Cup race that they got rid of those big bunches of tires that are kind of iconic in my mind, but they're still here in the iRacing version. If you cut it too close, you're in for a bit of a fight with those tire barriers, but it's going to be super exciting to see what these drivers can do here at Sonoma. Let's take a quick look back at last week. It was Nathan Finnegan bringing home the victory at the Chicago Street Course. Pardon me. The streets of the Windy City were unforgiving. Multiple drivers became acquainted with the tire barriers and spun those cold rear tires. Finnegan and Brian Smith were the class of the field for stage 1, but they both opted to flip the stage, pit early, and that let Jacob Smith take that stage 1 victory. Then at the start of stage 2, Brian, Jacob, and Nathan would all spin in separate incidents and begin an uphill battle to recover. Nathan Brzezowski went on to dominate stage 2 and take stage 2 win. Then Finnegan utilized that same strategy. He flipped the stage, took the lead coming out for that final stage 3, and he would not give it up. He finished with a 6-second lead over Brzezowski, but just a little bit behind them, and a very exciting 3-car battle broke out for the 3rd position. In the closing laps, Cody Neal was able to wrestle that position away from Brian Smith and Michael Taylor on not quite the last turn, but maybe the next to last turn. Just some great racing there in Chicago. Finnegan, Brzezowski, and Neal rounding out the podium as we take a look at the Icon Cup Series schedule. We're here at Sonoma. Just 5 races remain in the regular season. Dover, Indianapolis, Iowa, and Watkins Glen here to wrap up the regular season after Sonoma. But tonight, we're looking at 131 miles, 66 laps here at Sonoma. Going to be stages at 15 and 30. As usual, we got that 60% fuel allotment. That's going to make the fuel window somewhere between 23 and 25 laps, which means for the first 2 stages, you're probably just going to stay out unless we get some cautions that shake that up. But that final stage, you're going to need to stop for fuel. We're going to have 4 sets of tires, and as usual, 3 green-white checker attempts.
I don't think we're going to need everything except for the stage cautions. I don't think they don't run cautions until the stage is on the road course here. But nonetheless, it's still Sonoma and anything could happen.
Absolutely. We're wrapping up qualifying here. A little bit of a different setup. Instead of the single car qualifying, we had a open qualifying. All cars on the track at the same time, and taking a look, a little bit of a sneak peek at the leaderboard. It looks like just over half of the cars were able to turn a clean qualifying lap. A handful of drivers going to start at the back. They are almost done. We will be ready to crown that pole sitter. But yeah, Alan, this is just one of my favorite tracks. Been racing this one all the way back to the NASCAR racing on MS-DOS back in the late 90s myself. Just love this track. Back then, they kind of used that extra turns 5 and 6. But now we've kind of reset back to the, I'd say, the traditional late 2000s style of the track here at Sonoma. Just an incredible track. Always love coming here. Very technical. It works the tires, works the fuel strategy, and also gives you a chance to just kind of throw your elbows out and force your way around the competition if you need to. Especially there at turn 11. And there you have it. Qualifying has wrapped up. Last week's winner, Nathan Finnegan, has taken pole position with Jacob Smith in second, Cody Neal third, Brian Smith fourth. Jake Roll, kind of a unfamiliar name here, a newcomer, part-time driver, making his way. He was leading the practice leaderboards there for a while. He's going to start fifth. Jonathan Duncan in sixth, Nathan Brzezowski seventh, Adam Ball eighth, Michael Taylor ninth, Chuck Van Schaik in 10th, Ryan Patty 11th, John McNeil 12th. Then it's going to be Braxton DeWeese in 13th, Kevin Gunther 14th, Kyle Gilbert 15th, Mike Grenell in 16th, Charlie Widener and Hanover Fist in row 9, Anthony Tizio and Sean Purcell in row 10, Bentley Glazer and Jacob Gladelich in row 11, Charles Woods, Patrick Colby 23rd and 24th. Then behind them is going to be Kyle Purcell, Cody Eldred, Kyle Diaz, Brad Delph, Evan Patinko, Chris Camburn, and Ethan Van Collie. Wrapping up our starting grid. 31 drivers going to start this race here for the Icon Cup Series. Should be a great night of racing. You know, we've seen Nathan Finnegan kind of be on a tear recently, Alan, but I'm not sure who's got anything for him, as he's got familiar faces: Jacob Smith, Cody Neal, and Brian Smith starting there in the top 4 with him. What do you think is going to be the deciding factor here in tonight's race?
Look, you got to keep that car between the lines. Don't get off into the grass. Don't do nothing egregious in the first stage. You do everything right, you're going to be there at the end. Tires is also going to be key. Save those tires. Don't run the bejeebus out of the race car. There's 66 laps, and you guaranteed at least 2 cautions.
Yeah, you don't have that usual kind of parachute of a regular caution to help you get caught up. Not going to be as many opportunities to grab a lucky dog as usual. Here on the road course, you can depend on the stage cautions and not many others, as they get rolling here around this 1.99 mile track. Up the hill into turn 1. So we kind of walk around the track with you here, give you a tour. Come around turn 1 to the right. You're up the hill, and then just a little bit of downhill here into turn 2 to the left, then back up the hill to turns 3. And then this is going to be a big passing opportunity here down the hill, hard on the brakes. And this is where you kind of have a choice, Alan. You can stay on the track between those curbs, or you can run it way out to the left, as we see the 38 car doing there, as long as you get back in time for that wall. Then it's hard on the brakes here. We saw a lot of passes in the Cup race today right here. And then you're kind of hard on the gas, but you got to be careful. The car can get really loose and get carried away from you here through the S's. And you're going to be hard on that curb to the left to make your way right through here. And you're grabbing another gear and trying to pull ahead of that guy beside you. You want to be on the right side. Coming into this next turn, back to the right. If someone's crowding you, you can certainly throw your elbows out and kind of push them off into the dirt onto the left. And that sets you up to come into the hardest and slowest braking zone of the whole track, turn 11. As we see the pace truck hitting pit road. Drivers will be hard on the brakes here all night long, trying to hug that inside curb, get as close to those tire bunches as they can. And then come back here with a hard left down to the start-finish line. Nathan Finnegan going to lead them to the green flag here. And we are off. Jacob Smith with a great start to the inside. He kind of pulls ahead of the pole sitter. Going to have to be careful on that. We'll see what the race stewards have to say about it. Finnegan already hard on the brakes. Locks up the front. He goes off track. That's going to let Brian Smith move into P2. And we have not even one turn without some drama already. Multiple cars off in the dirt. That's Jake Roll in the 39. And here they come. As we mentioned, you got to get back on the track before that wall if you jump off to the outside. Everybody going to keep it clean right there.
That has allowed Jacob Smith to get away there. The two Buddy Motorsports drivers running 1-2 right now. I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. We're already trying to free Vinny. Shocker.
We were wondering how long it would take. Pretty much no time at all. Jacob Smith going to come down, hug those curbs, and lead us here on lap 1. That 4-car looking clean and fast so far here tonight. As we take a look back through the field, a couple drivers off pace. Like the 87 of Bentley Glazer. The first car kind of separated from the main pack. Then behind him, the 74 of Sean Purcell. saw a number of drivers get off track. Nobody with really any damage or heavy contact, but just getting into the dirt here at Sonoma can really cost you some time. Then back behind them, got Cody Eldred and Kyle Purcell well off the pace. There goes, looks like Kyle Gilbert has gone off track, and a number of drivers back behind him.
Ryan Patty's showing crashed.
We're going to go back and take a quick look at that as we see Ryan Patty sideways collects Gilbert. Cody Neal also off. Let's take that back a few seconds. See what happens here. It's like Patty just gets in the dirt, side swipes the 38, and then collects Kyle Gilbert there as he tries to avoid him. Things happen fast here in this California Wine Valley. But it's still Jacob Smith out front now with almost a 2-second lead over his teammate in the 78, Brian Smith. And Jacob just turned the fastest lap of the race, a 1:15.4. Looks like we've had a couple other drivers go off track as well. Jake Roll going off track in that 39 car. We can mention him. He was leading the practice leaderboards here before qualifying started. Kind of no harm, no foul there, Alan. Just getting a little bit off track, no problem.
Nonetheless, here we are working lap number 3:66 here tonight. Really going double digits, but hey. It looks like Evan Patinko went off course.
See if we can catch up with him. Yeah, there he goes. Ryan Patty went off with him. We'll go back and take a look at that. We're going to be jumping back and forth to catch all of this action here at Sonoma. Patinko just gets too hard on the brakes. They're coming into turn 3 of 4. Collects the 85. And gets it turned around. Jacob Smith improving on that best lap time already. A number of drivers off track, off pace. Looks like John McNeil was the latest driver to take a trip off of the track. Nothing too egregious there. Oh, there he goes. Braxton DeWeese able to get around him. Now Sean Purcell, I believe, is in pit road. Not sure if he's got some damage or not, but Jacob Smith still out front. I mean, I think it's pretty clean air, keeping it on track out front. Brian Smith starting to eat into that lead here as we've got more and more drivers off track. Brian Smith off track there as he got into the dirt, heading out of turn 10. Looks like we've got drivers clipping the dirt all around the track. Adam Ball in 7th. Nathan Finnegan back in 8th. But he's got the fastest lap of the race. The first driver to break into the 114s. A 114.85.
Yeah, it won't be long before Nathan Finnegan finds himself back where he belongs, and that's up in the front. As he just, it's all about finding the edge and tip your toe just a little bit over it. As he starts here at Sonoma, they get absolutely insane, as we saw in the first lap. Now here's the thing, as we're watching Charles Van Schaik there in that number 23 car, he's starting to eat in to the interval up to Nathan Finnegan.
Yeah, out of Levittown, Pennsylvania. 23 car, currently 9th, up 1 position from the start.
I wouldn't even know how to get to Levittown, Pennsylvania.
Well, I think like most places in Pennsylvania, you head to Philadelphia and take a left.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're coming from Pittsburgh, you go to Pittsburgh and hang a right.
Those are the two options. Take a look. Who are the fastest cars so far in the race? As we mentioned, Nathan Finnegan, the only driver breaking into the 114s. He's currently in P8. And then Jacob Smith and Brian Smith, the next two fastest laps of the day. Cody Neal and Nathan Brzezowski rounding out those top 5 fastest laps of the day. Let's take a look at who was fastest this last lap. It was Finnegan. He continues to run sub 115. And Brian Smith. And then back in 12th, Cody Neal also running down in the 115.3s. Making some moves. He's lost a number of positions, 9 to be exact, from the start of the race. Not the start that Cody was looking for, as we saw him get off track in one of those early incidents. Working his way back up.
I mean, 6 laps to, 6 laps, in the history books of 66. I mean, for the most part, these guys have ran a pretty clean race so far. Jacob Smith about a second and a half in front of Brian Smith, both drivers out of the Buddy Motorsports contingent.
Right now, take a look at who's made the most moves early in the race. Kyle Diaz leading that group. He's up 12 positions to 15th. Right here, chasing down Charlie Widener in the 95. Kyle running that a little bit different paint scheme than we usually see with him. Usually more of a blue vet to track scheme. Tonight with a red one. Looking sharp here in Sonoma. He continues to work on that bumper of that 95. Other drivers making big moves. Ethan Van Colley gained 9 positions up to 22nd. And Kyle Diaz cuts the curb there. Loses some momentum. That's going to let Gunther by for 15th, or at least get to his inside there. He makes the move.
I mean, we're not really missing anything up front here. We'll stick with this battle just a little bit.
Yeah, some of the best battles are actually further back in the pack. Looks like battle for 25th, 26th, and 27th are some of the best ones on the track right now. Ooh, Eldred almost makes contact with Tizio. He's going to get away for now. Back behind him, the 69 of Hanover Fist. This is the battle for 25th. And you can see on our track map, the cars are already spaced out all the way around the track. Looks like Braxton DeWeese is off. Gets it collected up. We'll go take a look at what happened to the 8 car. Looks like he's coming around turn 1 into turn 2. That's the second time we've seen a driver get loose there. Really no contact. That's not going to be the worst thing in the world for him this early in the race. Plenty of time to regroup.
That'll hurt his pride.
That's going to send him back to P12. And out front, Jacob Smith starting to pull away. Already a handful of drivers that either didn't start or are already out. Gladelich, I don't believe, actually started the race. Charlie Woods did not start the race. Sean Purcell in the 74. We saw him hit pit road earlier, and he's now 5 laps down. Really not sure what happened to him. He had maybe some incidents early, but nothing obvious. Looks like Jake Roll is on pit road. Whether he's trying to set himself up for some pit strategy or worse. Now seeing that Patrick Colby has crashed. This is coming into turn 11.
It's a lot of sauce.
Just too hard on the gas. Again, no contact. Since then, we've had Camburn go off and crash. Like I said, hang on with us tonight. We are going to be jumping around all around this 2-mile course to try and show you every issue as fast as they are happening. He avoids the tires, but not the contact with Patinko. That didn't look too bad. Oh, and then goes from bad to worse as he goes around back on the gas. Ryan Patty also with issues that last lap. He's running 17th, down 6 positions from where he started. And we're just kind of seeing this on repeat. Drivers having a lot of struggle, hard on the brakes into turn 11, getting loose. Patty able to make his way through the tires. Since then, Chris Camburn has crashed again.
Oh, Chris.
Just a half lap ago. Just overshot that one, Alan. Again, this Sonoma track gives you a lot of room to kind of run into the dirt without making contact. And in stage 1, these are all survivable, fixable mistakes. Later on, you're not going to be able to get as much grace, as it looks like Brian Smith in the 78 is tracking down Jacob.
We're getting to the end of stage 1.
This is moving fast, you're right. Just a reminder, we're doing 66 laps here today with stages at 15 and 30. So just 4 laps remain here in stage 1. This race going fast. Take a look at the fastest lap average over the last 5 laps. Brian Smith is leading them. So we see him gaining on Jacob, but Jacob the 3rd fastest over the last 5 laps. Nathan Finnegan also making some moves. Brzezowski and Van Schaik on the leaderboard as well.
Oh, we have a winner to the... Oh, wait, never mind. We don't have a winner to the race of the stand.
Not yet. We had the Gladelich and Woods that didn't... I don't think they actually started the race. But no one
I don't think they started either.
was on the grid has made it to the beer stand just yet.
Well, here, let's do this. Let's rename it the wine stand.
Ooh, I like that.
They're gonna be sipping their Chardonnays.
Yeah, I did. I was a little bummed they couldn't give Connor Zilic just one sip of wine for his victory yesterday in the Xfinity Series.
It was apple juice.
Yeah, I mean, sparkling apple cider is good too, but we're going to see
Close
our
enough.
leader, Jacob Smith, go around Evan Patinko in the 81. That's going to leave just 21 cars on the lead lap. Here in stage 1, we've already seen 8 cars go a lap down.
Let me ask you this: Did you have a sip of wine for him?
Oh, I have a sip of wine for
For
myself.
Connor Zilic?
Whenever I need it. But yeah, I think Zilic, just a phenomenal young talent. Really looking forward to see what he can do. I mean, there's nobody in the Cup Series was able to beat SVG, but Connor was able to get it done in the Xfinity Series. I hope that kid can get a ride somewhere so we can see.
You know, it's funny because it's funny that you say that, because I was talking to our boss Jonathan Leach. I said, with Suarez leaving the 99 car, that'll open the door for Zelic to come up to the Cup Series next season.
And that could be the spot. And wouldn't that be an exciting Trackhouse team battle to see Zilic and SVG battling there in the Cup Series on the road courses? I think my favorite interview when they asked Dale Jr. about the race at Chicago, where SVG bested Zilic last week. And he said he went to Zilic's pit stall and told him, "Hey, man, that's tough. He raced you a little hard. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, but you'll get over it." And then he went to SVG's pit and said, "Hell, man, what a race. Great job." So 2 sides of being an owner. When you're on the wrong end of some elbows out road racing, hard to get to sleep at night. But when you're on the right side of it, man, it feels good.
One driver on the right side of this road race is Jacob Smith, who essentially has 2 laps to go. He's going to come in, get right before the pit lane closes, and guess who's coming with him? Brian Smith. Wow.
Now, John McNeil has also pitted. Now Nathan Finnegan going to join him. These drivers deciding to flip the stage, forego the stage points. But just like last week at Chicago, we're seeing Brzezowski stay out. He says, I'll take those stage points if you're going to give them to me. So Brzezowski now in the lead with Michael Taylor in second, Jonathan Duncan third. Take a look at Brzezowski's race. Started in 8th. Worked his way up into the top 3. And now leading this race as the leaders have come in to flip the stage.
Checking in here in the YouTube.com live chat. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat. Emily Urias says that she hasn't seen Dave in a minute. How has he been? Dave is doing great. He is getting... I hope he has bought the SPF 100, but he is on a much needed vacation in wonderful Myrtle Beach. And then we're still trying to free Vinny. Look, guys, I don't think 3 Infinity is going to happen this season.
Well, let's just be clear. It's not within our power to free Vinny.
Yeah, look, we can't free Vinny. If you want to free Vinny, you write to Ryan, Patty, and make a case for him. Who knows? You know.
Speaking of Ryan Patty, he is locked in a battle here for 13th with Charlie Widener and Bentley Glazer. We're going to jump on board here in this last lap of stage 1. See what that's like. Glazer looking inside of Widener. Oh, but he overshoots it. Patty going to hang onto Widener's bumper, and he gets loose. But does get that spot away from Bentley Glazer. Puts Patty up to 14th. Well, you can see just how on edge these cars are.
Yeah, that car wasn't happy coming around turn 11 and then coming up the hill.
Oh, Brzezowski grabs a couple cones there on pit entry. He's going to have to be careful. Iracing might take offense to that. Give him an unsafe pit entry, but he's going to wrap it around here. Finish off lap 15 with Michael Taylor and Jonathan Duncan behind him. A 6-second lead. That should be the stage right there. And there is that stage caution. Going to bring it out. Nathan Brzezowski taking home the victory. Jacob Smith, who had led most of stage 1, 12 laps of it, in fact, flipped the stage. He's back in 8th position. And as these drivers are all going to get caught up and figure out whether they want to pit or not, we're going to jump away for our first commercial break of the night. Stay with us, and we will be right back here with the Icon Cup Series on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back to the Icon Cup Series here at Sonoma on SRM, as drivers have been hitting pit road here under caution. The three drivers that undercut the stage and stayed out are Jacob Smith, Brian Smith, and Nathan Finnegan. And we're taking a look at Jacob's path back to the lead here. He led the first 12 laps of the race, then took a 4-tire pit stop under green, and the stage caution came out at lap 15, and he has re-inherited the lead. Nathan Brzezowski started 8th here tonight, quickly moved his way up into the top 5, then came down for 4 tires at the end of the stage. Other drivers in that top 3, Brian Smith in 2nd. Same story as Jacob Smith and Nathan Finnegan. He's had a little bit more of an up and down race. Started on the pole, but was kind of beat to the line. And had a bit of an extended stop under green, making some repairs on top of a 4-tire stop back on lap 13 before he moved back in to 3rd place here, lining up to begin stage 2. Drivers kind of taking the biggest hit. Jake Roll showing him as out of the race. We talked about him a little bit. He was fastest in practice. Now running 26:10 laps down, out of the race. Not what you want to see for him, as he had damage and a meatball flag back on lap 8. While we're still under caution, we'll see if we can find what happened to Roll. Again, this was back on lap 8. The 39 car hits the curb and gets loose. Ooh, hard into that wall. Picking up the meatball flag. He did come down and get it cleared a lap later, but it must have been too much damage for him to overcome. Currently out of the race. Also seeing that Hanover Fist picked up a black flag, either speeding on pit road or entering it at the wrong time. That's going to hurt him. And then Ryan Patty just picked up a black flag as well for cutting the course under caution. I don't think that was on purpose.
Couldn't have been.
He's got to figure that out. Anyways, apologies as we are back green. Jacob Smith leading Brian Smith. There's just so much action there under the caution. And beforehand, apologies for missing the restart there. Jacob Smith leads Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan. Brzezowski back in fourth. As they are running around. We take a look from the blimp. Might need to get closer than that. That blimp's a little too far away. Everybody making their way back around the course. A handful of drivers were not able to catch up to the field before the restart, whether they were getting a wave around or a lucky dog, etc. Drivers include Kevin Gunther. Also looks like Ryan Patty, Kyle Gilbert. They are about a half of a lap behind the rest of the field. Ethan Van Colley, add him to that list. As now Hanover Fist has hit pit road. He's going to lose another lap there, serving that black flag. That puts him 5 laps down. Not leaving much hope for his night.
Absolutely not. I do like the ticker, though.
Now we've got Finnegan following Brian Smith. Trying to find his way up to second place. As we mentioned, Finnegan, last week's winner, also last season's champion. Riding along in third. As I mentioned, he had a little bit of a drop off there as he decided to flip the stage. A little bit of a long stop, 20 seconds, so a little bit of repairs on top of the 4 tires. Then back up in the top 3 after the caution by staying out.
Well, now we're racing the lap 30. And here's the thing. We're going to see the aggression level get a little bit higher.
Battle here between the 6 and the 78, the closest one on the track here for second. Finnegan with a fresh paint scheme. Usually we see him with that Tar Heel scheme, but he's got looks like Iggy's on the 6 this week. Watch out the back of that 78 car of Brian Smith out of Northville, Michigan. He tried to pull away from Nate Finnegan in the 6.
I think Nathan Finnegan just wants some Johnsonville brats.
He's going to look to the inside. Not quite there.
Oh. 2 shots.
Who is that? Oh, that's a lap car of EVC. Ethan Van Colley. He's going to give way to those leaders. And these stages are going fast, Alan.
I got a special delivery to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio here. Called French bread pizza.
Oh. Brian Smith hard on the wheel to avoid the outside wall. A little further back, Kyle Diaz is working on Mike Grennell. That's for 11th. He's going to look inside. Bentley Glazer going to try to follow him through. Not quite going to get there, but Diaz does. Best battle on the track continues to be between second and third. We also see the 69 of Hanover Fist picking up another black flag. That might have been delayed, as we saw him get one a few laps ago. And Smith off into the dirt, trying to get everything he can out of the track. Brian and Nate Finnegan really kind of hanging with Jacob Smith this run a lot better than they did in stage one. Then it's another 2 seconds back to Brzezowski. Looks like Ryan Patty in the pits. He's been there for a couple minutes now. Not having the race he was looking for. Looks like Brzezowski was recently off track, but still looking good. About 4 seconds behind our leader, Jacob Smith. Kyle Gilbert, another car getting off track. Now Evan Patinko gets off. There he goes. No harm, no foul. Right behind him. Oh, there's the foul. He goes around in turn 11.
I feel like that's a payback corner.
Yeah, Patinko is currently 1 lap down in the lucky dog position, but he's going to need to get turned around quick to keep it. Chris Camburn, who is also off track, he's the driver coming to battle for that lucky dog as we have just 5 laps left in stage 2, but he's going to hit pit road. And a little bit of the wall along with it. He's got damage to that left front. Action all up and down the leaderboard here at Sonoma is now Tizio getting off track. Working on Brad Delph. I think right now Delph is on the lead lap, but Tizio is 1 lap down in that lucky dog position, battling Chris Camburn. But Camburn is on pit road with that heavy damage to the left front, so Tizio has this lucky dog in his hands. So now just 5 laps left in stage 2.
Apparently the 85 car's running a toilet paper scheme. Charmin.
Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, we got that. The blue Charmin, I believe that's extra soft. I'm more of a red Charmin, extra strong man myself, but to each their own.
I mean, I do like a soft ride when it comes to toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm just more interested in security with my undercarriage, but everyone sets their car up differently for the track. Go ahead and take a look at those last 5 lap averages. Who is fastest? Jacob Smith out front. He's also the fastest car on the track. Nathan Finnegan is third. Second fastest, Brian Smith. Third fastest, and we got Cody Neal and Jonathan Duncan, both outside the top 5, doing their best to break into it.
And he's surprised that Jacob Smith is still out front here. And it looks like it might come down to Brian Smith here as we have, like, I don't know, 4 laps to go left of the stage.
Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look. Again, there were those 3 drivers that undercut the stage. The tire disadvantage does not seem to be hurting them from doing so. So if we've got 3 laps to go here, I think if I'm anybody in this top 10, top 15, I'm trying to learn from this and say, hey, I'm going to undercut the stage just like they did. That seems to be the winning strategy. If you're Brzezowski, he stayed out and got those stage points, but he hasn't been able to break into the top 3 with these other guys since then.
UVC needs it soft in the YouTube.com live chat.
We got some great engagement in the chat tonight. We are trying out some new overlay graphics. Let us know what you think, what you like, what you don't like. If there's something, a graphic you want to see that we don't have, let us know in the chat and we will get to work on it. Right now, our pride and joy is this driver position chart, categorizing the laps and position with pit stops and cautions on there as well. As Brzezowski going to do just what I just said. He's going to undercut the stage. Brian Smith is already in just ahead of him. But Jacob Smith stays out this time.
We saw earlier today that SVG undercut a stage and then won the stage.
Let's see. So that's going to bring Michael Taylor also with a fresh scheme here tonight. Long drink in that 08.
Okay.
He's up to
I
third.
can get behind it.
Jonathan Duncan up to fourth, and Braxton DeWeese, saw him with some issues earlier, recovering up into the top 5, but he's got Chuck Van Schaik right on his bumper. As Van Schaik looks to the inside, he's going to take it away from that Janes on Main Ford Mustang. Some really good racing here to end out stage 2. Looks like John McNeil also on pit road. He's running a fresh scheme. We got a lot of fresh schemes here tonight out of Thatcher, Arizona. McNeil Media on that 48 car.
I
There
love
comes
that.
Nathan Finnegan hits pit road just before the end of the stage. But Jacob Smith going to stay out there. So Jacob now in P1. Michael Taylor second. Jonathan Duncan third. So we have just 18 cars on the lead lap. John McNeil, the last one of them, he is under fire from Jacob Smith here. But we know McNeil's already been to pit road to get some fresh tires. He might be able to hold him off. Not so fast. Jacob Smith mowing him down. Looks like we've got a car. No, that's Ryan Patty still on pit road. Get some repairs done there. Smith now with an 8-second lead over second place Michael Taylor. He can just take it easy here to ride out stage 2. He's going to lap Kyle Gilbert. There, that leaves just 17 cars on the lead lap. Gilbert hoping to hold on to the lucky dog here for one more lap. Hoping that Smith cannot catch Gunther.
No, I don't think that Smith's going to be able to catch Gunther, but he's got to be real close. The driver out of Paducah, Kentucky, Kyle Gilbert, should be holding on to that lucky dog. Here comes Jacob Smith. That should do it for stage 2.
Again, maintaining that 8-second lead over Michael Taylor. He comes down to wrap up lap 30. I think the 48 just went around. Looks to be okay, but not going to be in a lucky dog as Kyle Gilbert will pick up the lucky dog here at the end of stage 2, and Jacob Smith and grab that stage 2 victory. And one more time, while these drivers get caught up to the pace car and decide whether or not they are going to pit, we're going to step away for a quick commercial break and be right back for the final and third stage of action here at Sonoma with the Icon Cup Series on SRM. welcome back to the Icon Cup Series here, Sunday night racing in Sonoma on SRM. We just wrapped up most of the pit stops here at the conclusion of Stage 2. That's going to leave Brian Smith out in the lead. I think McNeil going to take a wave around here to get his lap back. We're showing Ryan Patty having a lot of pit road time. Also just went off track here under caution. I imagine he is taking care of some administrative tasks here with the Icon Cup Series. Getting caught up. As we mentioned, Brian Smith going to be in first place here as they come around to wrap up 33 laps. That makes us exactly halfway here in the Sonoma 131.
Next week, we get to go to Dover International Raceway in Dover, Delaware. One of my favorite tracks. It's an oversized 1 mile version of Bristol. I cannot wait to be turning just left again.
Yeah, Dover, the Monster Mile. One of my favorite tracks as a driver. You have a real opportunity to save tires, especially that right front, and use some pit strategy as well. Right now.
But nonetheless,
yeah,
Shane,
we're rocking Sonoma.
The iRacing.com pace car are going to bring the field down through the S's. This time it's going to be Buddy's Motorsports versus Collar City Racing. Brian Smith versus Nathan Finnegan on the restart. You know, here's the thing. This is going to be the first time all night that Jacob Smith has not been in the front of this field. Now, granted, he's back there in 6th. But I cannot wait to see what Brian Smith does on this restart as the iRacing.com pace car brings the fields down through the S's.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why Jacob is so far back. I guess it's the undercut. He stayed out. The top 5 all pitted just before the stage, or the top 4 anyway.
Well, here we go.
Let them leapfrog him.
Getting ready to come through turn 11 right now. It's going to be Smith and Finnegan on the front row as we get ready to start stage number 3. Shane, we are getting ready to enter into the Echo Park restart zone. We're back to Green Flag Racing.
There they go. Brian Smith leads him up the hill into turn 1. He's got Finnegan right there, and then Cody Neal. I feel like we haven't said much about him since he was involved in that earlier caution incident off track. Recovering greatly to be up to 3rd now. Just ahead of Michael Taylor and behind Nathan Finnegan. You can see Neal already having a roller coaster of a night. Getting some repairs done at the end of the first stage, then 4 tires under green before the end of the second. Brought him all the way back to P4 here as Michael Taylor just gets around him.
You know, a lot of leagues don't run cautions on road courses because it would essentially take 6 minutes to get around for a lap. But nonetheless, this comes as a welcome break for some of these drivers, like your leaders. Here comes Jacob Smith. We're going to see how he does coming back up to the field. Now he's running in 6th position, but he's had the fastest, most consistent car all night. He's done everything right. I would suspect he's going to be back up there in the front here in no time.
Yeah, when you're used to that clean air being the leader, it is no fun to be caught back here in traffic as he is racing behind the 77 of Nathan Brzezowski. Jacob Smith.
He gets a little bit sideways.
Yeah, Brzezowski off the track and back on. You know, Jacob Smith has led the most laps tonight, 28. The next best is Brzezowski with just 4 laps. So Jacob Smith dominating the laps led so far here, and then Brian Smith leading 3 into this third stage. Those are the only 3 drivers that have been out front. They're all riding in the top 10 right now.
And here's the thing: is I tend to, so me personally, I tend to shy away from the road courses, only because I know I'm not a road racer.
Closest battles on track are in the top 10. We also got a battle raging between Charlie Widener and Kevin Gunther back for P14.
Kevin Gunther out of ECR, out of ball, out of ECR. Right behind him, Jacob Smith. There's the other half of that Buddy Motorsports contingent. So if you look at it like this, let's look at the top 5 real quick. So you got Buddy Motorsports leading the race. Then you got Nathan Finnegan out of Collar City Racing. Then 1, 2, 3 more Buddy Motorsports drivers make up that top 5. So Buddy Motorsports leading the way here with 1 driver that's not Buddy Motorsports. That's Collar City Racing's own Nathan Finnegan, the best running Collar City Racing driver out there.
Yeah, it just seems like track position is king. Those 3 cars out front, Smith, Finnegan, and Neal, all undercut the end of the stage, flipped it to their advantage, and then Jacob Smith, currently in 4th, is the first driver who pitted there at the end of the caution. Let's check the lap times. Actually looks like Cody Neal is the fastest car on track that last lap. Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan wrapping it up. So Smith, Jacob Smith, that is in that 4 car, doing his best to use a little bit of a tire advantage to catch up, but the other drivers are able to edge him out on speed, at least for now. There as Chuck Van Schuyck gets around Michael Taylor. That's for 5th position. He's also running a fresh scheme tonight. For the GOAT.
Evan Patinko out of Charmin and out of the race. Ryan Patty 9 laps down after overcoming a penalty.
Also looks like Jonathan Duncan has crashed here on the last lap. There he's chasing down Kyle Diaz.
Oh,
that's not too bad. No contact. I don't believe.
no harm, no foul, and he had Nationwide on the side.
That's all you can ask for.
I mean, look, you know, I'm like a good neighbor. State Farm is there, right?
Yeah, and like a good neighbor, Nathan Finnegan is there on the bumper.
I love it.
Of the 78. We're just riffing on it tonight, Alan. He has tracked down Brian Smith now under half a second. You can see how close they are, and Cody Neal is right behind him. Take a look at the rear view out of the 78 car.
Here comes Nathan Finnegan looking to the inside. He might try to outbreak him right here.
Doing his best. Going to go to the outside, but that's going to let
Cody Neal gonna lock it up.
Take a look at those lap times. Yeah, I think Smith had been just barely pulling away from Finnegan until that last lap. And there it is again. Finnegan with 2/10 on lap 38. Almost 2/10 there on lap 39. He's catching him.
Oh! Neal with a shot to Finnegan. And right now, Nathan Finnegan and a Buddy Motorsports sandwich. Gotta run, Iggy. Go, go, go.
Yeah, this is tough. He's trying to put the heat on the 78, but he's also got to defend the 38 in his mirror.
Cody Neal smacks the wall.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to try to cross over the 6 and got a little too wide.
Cody Neal's got to outbreak him coming into turn 11. Down through the S's. What a wonderful shot of the high above here. Cody Neal going to take a peek. He overdrives the corner to the inside. Those tires don't move, buddy.
Wow, just powers around Finnegan.
Power. I was going to say power move.
We talked a little bit about Cody Neal's journey here tonight, making some repairs back in the early laps right after stage 1, then a 4-tire stop to undercut stage 2. And he has just methodically worked his way back into the top 3 now. P2 as he gets loose and goes around.
Oh, no.
Just as we were singing his praises.
We're going to have to go back for that one. That one, you just saw that one live on the air.
And he's going to drop all the way back to 6th position as Chuck and Michael Taylor get around him. Let's go back and take a peek at that wreck back here on lap 41. He made it up to 2nd and just overcooked it on the curbs. Wow. I mean, let's go back and watch that from Finnegan's point of view, because he just barely escaped getting caught up in this one. Ooh.
Oh! That's about as close as you can get.
A little further back in the pack, we got Bentley Glazer trying to track down Charlie Widener. That'd be for 12th position. Widener goes hard into the corner, goes wide. Glazer going to clear him up to 12th. You can see Glazer actually started all the way back in 27th early on in the race. And that first lap moving his way up, taking 4 tires at each of the stages. Currently running 12th.
That's one corner we didn't. I just said that's one corner we didn't have on our bingo card, was that corner at the top of the speedway.
Yeah, it just seems like the curbs are kind of throwing some of these drivers for a loop as Braxton DeWeese makes his way around Cody Neal. Neal losing another position after that spin. DeWeese up to 6th.
I think Cody Neal just needs to hit the reset button and, well, you know, get back after it.
Yeah, Cody Neal, Brian Smith, and Nathan Finnegan, they all pitted 15 laps ago. So you mentioned in the race rundown, a pit fuel window, probably about 23 to 25 laps. So everybody out there going to need to stop one more time for the end of this one. And when we
Question is when?
Look at the race recap. It's pretty simple. Nathan Finnegan started on pole. He's running 2nd right now. Brzezowski won stage 1 after a couple drivers in front of him flipped the stage. And then Jacob Smith stays out, wins stage 2. And no other cautions because we are road racing in wine country.
And it just wouldn't make sense to do.
One more time. Let's see who's the fastest out there. Brian Smith, who's in the lead, has been the fastest for the last 5 laps, and Nathan Finnegan in 2nd. I mean, 1, 2, 3, they're basically running identical times, especially Smith and Finnegan. Early on in the race, we saw Finnegan run a sub 1:14, but not gotten back there since that first stage. There it is. The only other drivers to break the 1:15 mark anytime in the race were Jacob Smith and Cody Neal, running 3rd and 7th respectively. Again, Jacob Smith has led the most laps today, but Brian Smith adding to his total every lap here in stage 3. Finnegan holding on to that second position, doing everything he can to try and catch up to him. Just not getting there yet, but he's lurking.
He's definitely lurking. Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith setting up.
Now, both of these drivers are opting to stay kind of to the inside of those curbs versus running way off track and having to get back over to the right. Smith just seems to have just enough of a lead that he can run his race and be comfortable, and then just peek at his mirror every now and then, make sure Finnegan hasn't done anything tricky.
Define tricky.
Well, he didn't do anything tricky there. I know it when I see it.
I gotta know, Shane, what's the wine that Shane likes to drink? If you were gonna win this race, what would be the wine that you'd want in victory lane?
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite wine is a Norton, and that is it's a dark wine, kind of a Pinot Noir style of red wine. I'm a red wine man myself, so I think it'd be Norton, then maybe a Pinot Noir, and a Merlot in that order. But you know me, I am not a discerning beverage drinker. I welcome all
If I were to win
beverages
this
into my refrigerator.
If I were to win this race, it would have to be muscadine from Mountain Valley Winery in Eastern Tennessee.
And there's going to be our first green flag pit stop of this third stage. Nathan Finnegan coming down pit road here on lap 46 with 20 to go. If everything goes right, this will be his last stop of the day. He's going to bring Cody Neal with him and Patrick Colby. Then Brad Delph, Ethan Van Collie, and Ryan Patty. Patty has been on pit road making some more repairs. EVC also making some extended repairs here. Both of those drivers multiple laps down. We're left with 17 cars on the lead lap.
He should have went with the Red Charmin. Way stronger.
Brian Smith now enjoying a 4.5 second lead ahead of Jacob Smith in the 4 and Michael Taylor.
If Brian Smith just put that thing on cruise control.
Yeah, Michael Taylor been up towards the front pretty much the entire race. I'm not sure he's had the speed to compete with Brian and Jacob out in the lead, but up 6 positions from his start in 9th. Currently running 3rd. Just being nice and consistent here on the road course. Putting himself in position for a late race run here. So Nathan Finnegan pitted. He comes out 8th. Looks like he took, I'm going to guess, maybe 2 tires, maybe fuel only. It's going to be close either way. That puts him 27 seconds behind our leaders. After he pitted, and there he goes. The 78 of Brian Smith going to hit pit road this time around. Following him is Jacob Smith. And there we're seeing Mike Grenell picking up a black flag that lap as well. Let's see if we can see what that was about. Looks like speeding on pit road on exit. And there, Jacob Smith picks up a black flag as well.
Oh no.
Looks like on pit entry. I mean, it's got to be speeding. I'm not sure what else you could get at this point. That is going to really shake up this race and leave Brian Smith in control. But right now, Michael Taylor is still out front. He has inherited the lead from Brian and Jacob as he continues to hold off Chuck Van Schaik. Chuck has had another great night as well. He started back around 10th position and has moved up ever since. Now up to 2nd. And fighting for the lead with Michael Taylor right here. He's going to look to the inside. You can see those brake rotors glowing, and they help him get around the inside. He's going to take the lead away from Michael Taylor. Jacob Smith served his black flag on that pit stop. I believe it was speeding on entry, so he took an extended stop there in the pits. That dropped him back to 14th position. He's got an uphill battle now, and that's Bentley Glazer sideways on the track. Take a look at what happened to him coming down the hill.
Drives it in a little too hard, and around he goes.
Yeah, those curbs have been a struggle for a lot of the field so far in this race. Chuck Van Schaik continues to lead. As we mentioned, Jacob Smith all the way back to 13th now. Brian Smith, the first of the cars that have pitted. Oh, I correct myself. Nathan Finnegan, actually, the furthest up of the cars that had pitted. He is actually 7 seconds ahead of Brian Smith, and that is because of pit strategy. Here, drivers starting to play chess while others are playing checkers. So we take a look at our top 10. Braxton DeWeese is now in the lead as Chuck Van Schaik, Michael Taylor, and Jonathan Duncan hit pit road. But DeWeese and Diaz have been out there for 18 laps. There's 16 to go. They are kind of running long. And now Finnegan up to 3rd because he took those 2 tires.
That doesn't shock me.
And we're kind of seeing this updating as people are pitting. Brian Smith took 4. Jonathan Duncan takes 2. Adam Ball takes 4.
I see a couple of zeros on there. Oh, wait, those are fresh tires.
Yeah, they're again, it's kind of updating as we're watching. But we're going to see this strategy play out. So we've got Deweese and Diaz out front. They have not pitted yet. And they are running bumper to bumper themselves, just 0.3 separate. And there goes Deweese. He's going to come down pit road. That's going to leave Kyle Diaz in the lead. He's been out there 19 laps now since the last pit. And then 9 seconds back from him is Nathan Finnegan, the first of the cars that have pitted. And he is enjoying a 5-second lead over Brian Smith, who's the first car on 4 tires. So So a hodgepodge of strategies playing out here with 15 laps to go. Kyle Diaz continuing to lead. And it looks like we've got a couple crashes here. Gunther has had an issue. I'll check on him. Down into turn 11, just kind of overcooks the rears, locks him up. Oh, and then John McNeil gets collected as well as he comes through.
Oof.
And our leaders, or, you know, some of those lead cars, that's Michael Taylor and Chuck Van Schaik. They're coming through there too. So Diaz still out there. He's run 19 laps so far. I believe that fuel window somewhere around 23, 25 laps. So there's no rush for him, although I'm just not sure what the saving grace is. If he were to catch a caution, yeah, maybe he'd be in good shape. But we're not really in a race with full track cautions here on the road course at Sonoma.
Don't forget to join us next Sunday night as we bring you 240 laps of high-flying action around the Dover International Speedway. With 240 high-flying, high-octane laps. And Shane, I tell you what, the race I'm looking forward to is the Brickyard, July 27th. Coming off of the PDC the night before. 96 laps at the Brickyard. I cannot wait for that one.
Yeah, Indianapolis is just a fantastic track. No matter what car you're in, there's drafting, there's tire saving, there's fuel strategy. You know, it's a square four-sided track, but it is a technical nightmare if you don't know what you're doing. Should be a great race here with Icon.
And then looking a little bit further than into the crystal ball, another one I'm looking forward to is August 3rd at Iowa Speedway for 210 laps.
Yeah, Iowa, just one of those great short tracks. Doesn't always get mentioned in the conversation of the Martinsvilles and the Bristols, but another great opportunity to save tires, kind of throw those elbows out and get around who you need to. And just as we say that, Brian Smith has just turned the fastest lap of the entire race. 1:14.69. I think that's 6.8.
Can you believe
Nathan Finnegan for the fastest lap of the race? But he's still 10 seconds behind our leader, Kyle Diaz, who has not pitted yet. And 4 seconds behind Nathan Finnegan, running second again. Finnegan is the first car who has pitted. He took 2 tires, maybe no tires. It's kind of right on the edge. A 7-second stop. Not sure if that's fuel only or 2 tires. Were kind of inferring that from the time. And then Brian Smith in third, the first car on 4 fresh tires. Behind him is Braxton DeWeese running 4th. He's on the same strategy as Finnegan. Then Jonathan Duncan rides 5th just behind him. And Cody Neal, who is battling with Van Schaik and Michael Taylor right here in turn 11. And Van Schaik going to take it away up to 6th. Definitively. And Cody Neal just looks like he kind of had the breath knocked out of him. There's both of those cars going around. Neal had pitted a little bit earlier than most of these cars here in the top 7. I'm not sure exactly why. He's kind of just not having the aggressive speed we saw earlier in the race. Oh, and Brad Delph goes around.
Whoa, that was close.
Let's see, collected up. We'll go back and take a look at what got him turned around. And there it is. I mean, we've seen car after car get sideways there. A little loose with the heavy rear braking, and then as soon as they hit the curbs, the cars just go around. Brad doing a great job here to get turned around without causing anybody else an issue. As Kyle Diaz continues to ride out front. Now 23 laps since his last pit stop. He is just ahead of Bentley Glazer, who will be the first car 1 lap down.
I mean, at this point, if you're Kyle Diaz, did you save enough to try to make it to the end?
I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure how you'd save that much again. I think my fuel window was 23 to 25 laps. I think he's got to come in this lap or the next one just to make it.
I mean, he last came in on 32. Here he comes.
There it
just
is.
as you say. And that's going to cycle Nathan Finnegan to the top.
Finnegan out front, but Brian Smith running about 3 to 4 tenths faster than him every lap. He has trimmed the lead down to 3.5 seconds. You can see that gap coming down every lap over the last 5 laps. Smith chasing down Finnegan.
Drivers had nothing to hang their hat on. They did a phenomenal job all day long. 10 to go. Nathan Finnegan continues to lead. 3 seconds is the interval. Back to Brian Smith. Braxton DeWeese, 24 seconds back. Great job to him. A lot of these drivers, you know, like you said at the top of the show at qualifying, could not turn a clean let to save their lives.
Now, right now, Brian Smith, the fastest car on the track. Not quite breaking into the 114s. I don't know, 115.03. Trying to track down Nathan Finnegan. He's got that gap now under 3 seconds.
Ooh, catch a little bit of the wall there.
Up the hill. Continuing to gain. He had 6 tenths on him last lap. I'm not sure that's
Whoa,
gonna be
he's there,
enough.
buddy.
Brian Smith led 16 laps earlier. Finnegan now finally out front to lead some laps himself. Again, leveraging that 2 tire strategy on his pit back on lap 46 has set him up to be in the leader seat here with 9 laps to go. But Brian Smith doing everything he can to track him down. That lap, I think they are going to be closer on lap times. As Finnegan found a little bit extra of something.
Call it afterburner.
Pretty much matching lap times there. A 1:15.7 for each of them. Smith is going to have to dig a little bit deeper and find something. Here with those 4 tires. It's really a 2-car race at this point, Alan, as those guys are less than 3 seconds apart. And then it's a whole 22 seconds. Back to 3rd place, Braxton Deweese. Doing his best to catch up to these guys. But I think at this point, unless Finnegan or Smith have an issue, there is no full course caution that's going to bring these guys all back together. But there are a number of great battles here in the top 10. One of them between Chuck Van Schaik and Michael Taylor. That's a battle for 5th. Taylor working to track down that 23. A little further back, we got Bentley Glazer and Charlie Widener. Here they go side by side. Glazer going to take away 12th position. He's had a bit of an up and down day, as low as 27th early in the race. Working his way up into the top 10 at one point. Highest of P9. Now riding in 12th.
What a great battle is. We're not missing anything up here in the front. It's all Nathan Finnegan. Here comes Jonathan Duncan trying to run down Braxton DeWeese. What a great view of the end car.
And Duncan's 6/10 faster than DeWeese that last lap. He's gaining on him ever so slightly. Right there, you can see how much harder he is on the brakes. DeWeese goes wide. Duncan going to take advantage. Hard on the gas. Again, Sonoma, just one of those tracks that it teases you. It kind of begs you to mash the gas. And you have to be so disciplined to save those rear tires, keep the car pointing straight. Let's see if Duncan takes a lunge at DeWeese here into turn 11. Not quite in position to make a move just yet. Back out front, though. Brian Smith continues to eat into that Nathan Finnegan lead, and now you can see Smith in the background of the shot. Five-tenths faster that last lap with 6 to go. And a 1.5 second lead. Smith should be catching Finnegan here in 3 to 4 laps. There it is, that gap continuing to come down. Now 1.3 seconds between the 78. And there I see Ryan Patty just picked up another black flag.
Oh no.
Gotta wonder if some of the drivers are starting to flirt with the incident limit here this late in the race. We also see Patrick Colby has crashed. We'll take a look at that in the 28.
Go Auburn.
Alabama car. Yeah, again, another victim of these curbs down at the bottom of the hill. Everybody else able to avoid him. Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan now working through the lap traffic. That's a 55 of Mike Grenell. And Smith has got this lead down to just 8 tenths here with 5 laps to go. Those 4 tires really starting to pay off late in this run as he is now within reach of that 6 car. We are setting ourselves up for a dramatic finish. Now under 7 tenths of a gap between these two, and lap cars ahead. I mean, he is there, Alan. Those lap cars are just getting out of the way at this point. The 15.
Brian's got to be careful, though, not to drive that car so hard. And there you go. See him escaping across the rubble strips there, coming into the S's.
Still got about 3.5 laps to get this pass done. He is right there, both of them, with a tire down into the dirt.
Here goes.
Oh, he waits on it that time. Takes a conservative line through the corner. That's going to let Finnegan get off. Build a little bit of a gap. Still under half a second as they come by the start-finish line. 3 laps to go here at Sonoma.
This is what it's going to take, though. It's going to take a pass down there in turn 11. Nathan Finnegan just needs to hang on just a little bit. Brian Smith just needs to be smooth. Driver out of Northville, Michigan. Another one of those Michiganders.
Two and a half laps remain as Nathan Finnegan tries to hold off Brian Smith.
Brian Smith's going to try to force. Oh, he's going to give him a shot.
Oh, the
Brian
78.
Smith,
How did he
saved
save
it.
that? I mean, he looked like he used the outside barrier to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna wind that one back real quick and just see how in the world did he save that. Gets loose.
Whoa.
And the wall is there just when he needs it. Fantastic. But Finnegan going to pull ahead again now with an 0.8 of a second lead. 2 laps to go. Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan have combined for 10 wins this season. Half of the race victories have gone to these two. And we are setting up for them to do it one more time.
Who's it going to be? This is getting exciting.
It sure looked like Brian Smith was going to easily take this away with a couple laps of buffer, but after getting sideways, having to use the wall to save it, it just seems like his tires have got a lot of heat in them here, Alan.
He's going to try it again. He's got 2 more shots to do it.
Yeah, there's just going to be 2 more times around turn 11 here. He's deep.
He's looking to the outside.
Gives him a shove.
He let him know he was there. White flag is out inside by.
There it is. White flag is out. Last lap. Brian Smith 0.3 off the bumper of Nathan Finnegan. He gave him a bump in turn 11 there with 2 to go. I don't think he's going to be that polite here on the last lap. Both of these drivers locked into the playoffs. They don't really have anything to lose by being aggressive.
Here he goes.
With
He
each
goes to
other.
the outside. He's going to use the grass. Finnegan going to
Then
block.
down to the inside.
There he goes.
Contact. Oh, Finnegan threads the needle. Gets back on the track, but now Brian Smith is ahead of him. He throws it in there. Oh, and Smith gets sideways. This is incredible.
Through the S's one more time.
Just a half lap to go. Brian Smith ahead of Nathan Finnegan. He's got the better tires. Can he hold on to it?
We're going to see a slugfest here. Finnegan, Tokyo drifted it around turn 10.
He really pulled ahead now. Well, I'm not sure he's within reach.
Finnegan, you're driving in deep.
Oh,
no.
And there it is. Brian Smith in the 78 with the last lap pass over Nathan Finnegan. Bringing it home with the checkered flag. He's going to lead the 6 car of Nathan Finnegan, and the 08 of Michael Taylor should finish third. He comes around to finish his lap. He's got a 3-second lead over Chuck Van Schaik in 4th. Keeps it smooth.
What a battle that was.
There it is. Back behind them, Jonathan Duncan gets around Van Schaik, who had some trouble there in the final turn. He comes across 5th, Kyle Diaz. Now 6th, Braxton DeWeese. Coming around 7th. Got a couple cars off track here. Kevin Gunther having some issues on the last lap. Saw John McNeil crashed on the last lap as well. We'll go back and take a look at him in the 48. just got on the gas a little too hard. There, everybody trying to get everything they can here on the last lap, but Brian Smith is the one that comes home with the victory. Here at Sonoma, picking up his 7th win of the season, his 16th top 10, his 15th top 5. Brian Smith in the 78 with that Johnsonville scheme continues to bring him luck this season. He's burning it down.
Literally, he's going to burn it till the motor pops.
Ripping it up. We are waiting for our podium drivers to head into the interview waiting room. We will talk with each of them here to wrap up this race at Sonoma. Another great race for the Icon Cup Series on Sunday nights with SRM. As Brian Smith completes his burnout victory lap around the track.
Like we got Nathan Finnegan in there.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk to our second place driver.
There they are.
Driver of the number 6, Nathan Finnegan, bring it home P2. Alan, he's in the booth for you.
Nathan, what a great battle there those last 2 laps. Take us through that battle. And what could you have done differently to not let Brian Smith by you?
Yeah, well, we'll definitely take a P2 after putting the 6 on pole. Pretty disheartening, honestly, all things considered. We had the pace for the win, and just we took a gamble on strategy and went fuel only at the end, trying to save a little bit of time. And hindsight being 2020, if we took tires, we probably would have won that race. But big shout out to 78, hell of a drive. I mean, he just maximized his pace to make up the deficit of taking the tires there at the end, and it worked out. It worked out for him. I wish the race could have been 1 lap shorter. That would have been great. I had nothing for him once we got to the end, and I had to defend. These tires went on like 30 plus 40 laps ago or so. So, yeah, it sucks that we start off the race that way, but we'll take home a P2 for sure. So big shout out to the 78. Good battles all throughout the field. Good hard racing and good clean racing too at that.
Yeah, what was your mindset there at the top of the hill when Brian drives you a little bit wider coming off that turn? I believe it was turn 5, that right-hander. What was your mindset? Was you in hustle mode at that point?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we were kind of doing everything to just defend. And he did a good job setting us up there on that corner. That's turn 5 and turn 6 there. Was kind of watching the delta, and that's where we were losing. That's where the old tires really killed us. We just could not get the front end to turn in, and we couldn't get any turn in it, and really hard time putting the power down at this point. And that's where, he set us up really well, and executed it well. And that was, hats off to him. Excellent race.
Well, look, man, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you'd like to help you get it done? Is there anybody you'd like to think to help you get it done here on this number 6 ride?
Yeah, the ECR team, my wife, my parents, you guys for, putting on a great broadcast each and every week. Big shout out to Dark AIS with the new 6 Iggy scheme. If people haven't been to Rhode Island, definitely recommend coming out and checking out our seafood scene. And Iggy's a great local spot that, definitely need to check out if people are tourists in town. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And we're on to Dover.
Yeah, check out Iggy's there in Rhode Island. I'll never get out there because I'm here in St. Louis. But if you're on the East Coast and in Rhode Island, check out Iggy's. Back to you, Shane.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Next up, we're going to chat with Michael Taylor, driver of the 08 car. Bring it home second. Michael, you got Shane and Alan in the booth. How you doing?
Pretty good. A little sweaty. How about you guys?
Hey, not bad. What a great race here in wine country, Sonoma Valley, with the Icon Cup Series. We saw you kind of go bouncing around the top 10 all night, but you never got lower than P10, and then you brought it home on the podium at the end. So tell us about your night.
It was fun. Never raced Sonoma before, so that was nice to get a podium on the first time. My pit strategy was kind of running opposite of the leaders. I was just trying to get my stage points, honestly. Most of them have a win already, so I'll take any points I can get. Yeah, I pit early on the final stage to grab 4 tires, and with 2 laps to go, it ended up being the right move, but it was quite the drive.
Yeah, fantastic. Watching you kind of work your way up through the top 10 there on that final stint after the green flag stops. You came out 10th and then just worked your way all the way back up to 3rd. Congratulations again. Who else you got to thank for tonight's race?
Everybody watching, family. So, my team has been good as well. I feel like Buddy Motorsports has been quite the power this year. Any discipline, road course, oval. So excited to see how we end up towards the end of the season.
Yeah, indeed. We saw a lot of got a fresh paint schemes out tonight. Looks like you're running a long drink scheme. Anything you can tell us about what long drink is?
Yeah, no, just wanted to change it up a little bit. It's probably my favorite alcoholic drink, but it's pretty refreshing. So just wanted to rep it a little bit. Also wanted something orange to drive around with. So I'll probably have another new scheme next week. So tune in for that.
All right, we look forward to it, and enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, I'm looking down in the waiting room. I see the driver of the number 4. He's not on the podium, but he's in the waiting room. I have a feeling he's going to want to do some catharsis with us to talk about that pit road penalty. Jacob Smith in the number 4, how you doing?
Well, it could be better. We led a solid 50% of the race, made a strategy call at the end, got I don't know, just frustrated. I had to take evasive action to avoid 2 people, one being a teammate at the end who's, not happy with after I was catching Brian and Nathan. One into pits, was trying to uncheck tires, just if I could gain a little bit of time. Went 2 miles an hour over, and my race was over from there. I had a 40-second hold and somehow managed to get a P8 out of this thing.
Yeah, certainly not the end to match the beginning of your race, but we look forward to seeing what you can do next week. Anybody you got to thank for your race performance here tonight?
Yeah, all the guys back at Buddy Motorsports. I know Jake was with us this week. He was giving us a lot of help during the week with practice, and just wish we could get this Midwest Euro Parts Ford Mustang in Victory Lane again. But circumstances happen, and just got to live with it.
Yeah, certainly nothing wrong with a top 10 finish after overcoming a penalty like that. So we'll keep at it, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Last but not least, for you, Alan, we got the 78 car of Brian Smith bringing home the checkered flag.
Brian, how's it going? And congratulations on parking it in Victory Lane.
Oh, man. Thanks, Alan. What a battle. That was one of the best battles I've ever had on iRacing. Hats off to Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car. That was just 2 different strategies meeting up on the last lap. I got aggressive, but I'd make that move 10 times out of 10. I got that run, and what a battle. I could not believe that I actually came away with the win on this. I think the 6 had me on pace, but strategy won it.
Yeah, take us getting through turn 5 at the top of the hill and getting around Nathan. You kind of, you kind of do what you had to do there, and then he tries to cross you over coming to the S's. Take us through that whole set of corners, and what was your mindset as you I know it's good hard racing, but take us through that and what your mind was going through.
I'll take you up a little before that. The lap leading up to that, coming through the hairpin, when I was on his bumper, I knew I had to at least try something. If I was there at that point, on the tire advantage, I got to stick my nose in there at some point to just at least get side by side. And then, coming up the turns 4 and 5, I felt like I was better through there than he was all night. That was one of the few places that I did feel really good coming over that switch up. And then I got that run down that hill, and I just kind of said to myself, I can stick my nose in here. It's the last lap. I'm going to do it. And yeah, there was a little contact. That's not a good place to turn or to try and pass someone. But like I said, I'd make that move every time when I got a run on tires coming to the checkered on the last lap. And then after that, I just tried to regather it best I could, even though I had a right front lockup, and yeah, hammer down from there. Nathan raced me clean. Tried to race him clean. Like I said, I know there was contact, but I felt like that was just part of it. What an awesome battle, though. That was so much fun. I was so locked in.
Yeah, watching this last lap here, watching the replay, you just put it on the afterburners after getting around Nathan Finnegan. You just put on the afterburners, and then Nathan had no other choice but to drive it in as deep as he could, and to no avail. You come away with the victory. Take us to that last corner on turn 11.
Yeah, that corner after the right-hander where I got by him. I was watching my mirror because I knew a bump was coming, and we both overshot it, and luckily I had the rear tire advantage on him, and I could put traction down a little better and scoot it away best I could. But yeah, as soon as I saw I got a nice little gap on him through the S's, I was feeling pretty comfortable. I wasn't worried about Nathan doing anything dirty in that final corner, even though he was so much better than me coming into that final hairpin. I had nothing for him all night on equal strategy, but once I saw we had maybe like a 6 or 7 car length gap on him, I was pretty confident he wasn't going to be able to do anything as long as I took it a little deeper, and yeah, sure enough, got the checkered.
Look, man, before we get you out of here, is there anybody you'd like to thank to help get you here tonight?
Yeah, Jacob and I ran quite a few practice races for this one, so we were bouncing ideas off each other. Shout out Jacob for the help this week, and Mike did a great job tonight, got P3. I also want to give a shout out to our first time debut teammate, Jake Roel, in the 39 car. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a hiccup earlier in the race. It sounded like I didn't see what happened, but awesome to have him out here. And obviously a huge shout out to Finnegan. What a battle. I can't state it enough. This is one of the best battles I've had on an iRacing race, coming down to the white flag on different strategies. That was just absolutely epic. Waylon, shout out to Waylon for doing a great job with the paint as always, and thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast, and hope everyone that was watching on the stream enjoyed it. But
I will tell you, I will tell you this before we get you out of here. We were looking at the wins. Combined, you and Nathan have won all of the races so far.
I don't think that's accurate. Not all the races.
Over half.
No, over half.
Oh, over half. I didn't hear that. Yeah, that's not surprising. Nathan has turned it up so much this year. I was telling him, I was talking to him a little bit on Discord after he won the Chicago race, how impressive it is that he's gotten so much quicker, especially on road courses. He's always been good on short tracks, but his development on road courses has been crazy. I used to feel like I was the one to beat at road courses. I don't think that's really the case anymore. I think it's that 6 machine.
Well, and once again, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Dover.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.
Well, Alan, that's all of it right there. Yeah, Brian Smith just coming out with the strategy play at the end of the race. 4 tires made all the difference. I didn't see that coming. We kind of saw track position be king all through the race. But 4 tires was a winning strategy. Brian Smith going to bring home the victory here tonight at Sonoma for the Icon Cup Series. Nathan Finnegan second, Michael Taylor third, Jonathan Duncan fourth. Chuck Van Schaik is fifth, Kyle Diaz sixth, Braxton DeWeese seventh, Jacob Smith coming home eighth after that pit road penalty took him out of contention. Cody Neal in 9th, Patrick Colby 10th, Adam Ball 11th, Bentley Glazer 12th, Charlie Widener in 13th, Kyle Gilbert 14th, Kevin Gunther 15th, John McNeil, Mike Grenell, Brad Delph 16th, 17th, and 18th. And we're looking at Anthony Tizio Then a pile of drivers who did not complete the race all the way. Ryan Patty, Ethan Van Colley, Nathan Brzezowski. Brzezowski won some of the stages there and was a powerhouse early in the race, kind of just outside the top 3. He's going to come home 22nd. Evan Patinko 23rd. Chris Cameron 24th. Hanover Fist 25th. Cody Eldred 26th. Jake Roll 27th. Kyle Purcell 28th. Then Sean Purcell in 29th. And then Jacob Gladelich and Charles Woods did not start the race. They are 30th and 31. And that's going to wrap it up for us here at Sonoma. Alan, any final thoughts?
What a great race. What a race that we knew was going to come down to the end, the last lap. But I will tell you this, I am ready to head east to Dover, Delaware.
Yeah, it's about that time. We've seen some road racing here, ready to get back to the ovals. What we're used to, kind of the bread and butter. But as always, another great race here for the Icon Cup Series on Sunday nights with Sim Racing Media. We will catch you again next week. Thanks for watching.